Hi Viner community, John back again. So this is going to continue on from my last video where I spoke about my trip to Stockholm, and yeah, I don't think I said on my way home from Stockholm, on my flight home, I had a fairly lengthy stopover at Edinburgh, Scotland, and it was the first time in Scotland for me. I'd never been there before. And Edinburgh was, you know, a lovely surprise. It was a beautiful city, which is saying something, I think, because if you ever spent any time in Stockholm, many cities sort of pale in comparison, but Edinburgh held its own, I think. Okay, so I met up with Andy, Cloudy Mulder, and he took me to a few record shops, but like I said, you know, the day before, I was already experiencing some kind of record shop fatigue. But he took me to a few places, and it was lovely to see, and interesting to see the contrast in sort of cultures there, how differently the Swedes do it from the way the Scots do it. Okay, so we're listening to this. This is one of the records that I showed from my acquisitions that I made in Stockholm. Very nice instrumental slide guitar by Kuda. And at the end of my last video I was talking about this, but yeah, my camera ran out and it was too difficult to go back and do it, so I'll just show this one again. So this is Jinx by Rory Gallagher. It's one of his latter albums, I think, yeah, it came out in '82. It's the third album of his that I have in my collection now. So yeah, I'm slowly becoming more familiar with you know, what he done, and I find it very interesting. Okay, so I met Andy sometime in the afternoon, I think about 2ish, and we walked around to some record shops. I'd already been there a few hours, and sort of walking around, I had some quite serious blisters on my feet, and it was another stiflingly hot day, not unlike today actually. It's quite hot today here, but it was particularly warm then. I'm trying to think, the first place we went to, the first record shop that we went to, I can't remember what it was called, but it was a place that Andy had explained he'd been aware of it but never actually been there. And we went there and we were sort of greeted outside by a man that obviously owned the place, who did pretty much everything to deter us from sort of showing any interest in his shop. We sort of quickly looked in, yeah, and it was like a big, well, it was a small building, a small house I suppose, but it was propped full of records and record shelves. I think he expressed to us that there's not enough space in there for us to be able to go in and look around. We just have to tell him what we're looking for, and he would go and locate it for us. Which isn't really record browsing, is it? You know, I think he said that he sells mainly online, and he didn't have opportunity to let us be able to go in his store and browse, which is a shame, because I'm sure we'd have found some great stuff. But oh well. So we left him there to his record shelves, and we went further to a few other places. I can't remember the names, but I think the first record I bought in one of the shops was this one. It's another Jimmy Smith album, The Unpredictable Jimmy Smith Bashing. Great record, includes the exciting jazz version of Walk on the Wild Side. So yeah, this was a lovely find. No, it was interesting to go shopping or crank digging with Andy because he's a big fan of heavy metal, particularly the new wave of British heavy metal, and I think that he sort of focuses on that when he goes out looking for records, and so he sort of had a good sort of grip on where he was going to find something of interest to him. Whereas I was sort of going into these places completely, open, completely fresh to them, and so it was really enjoyable. I noticed that it seems to be the way in Edinburgh anyway that the shop owners take the vinyl records out of the covers and store them, in shelves behind the counter, and so what they have on display is sort of empty record covers. They used to do it like that in the record stores in the 80s, I think. It was interesting to see that they did it even with obviously used records. But, so that was interesting to see. Must be a lot of extra work on their part. So the next shop that we went to, I think the last shop we went to was this one. It was this. This is the bag that I got from there. Vinyl Villains. Oh, that's a pretty cool bag. And we looked around. I quite like that shop. There's a good buzz in there. Lots of people, all out, sort of almost like meeting up in the record store and chatting. Conversation. I spent some time listening to a conversation between some customer there, obviously a regular customer, and the man behind the counter. Interesting to hear what they have to talk about. But in there I grabbed this one, Crosby, Stills and Nash. This is one I've been looking out for a while. And I didn't have it, so very happy to have found that. I've got Deja Vu, and I really like Deja Vu. But I think this one seems, I don't know, a little plainer, a little simpler than Deja Vu. And I wonder if that's because of the inclusion of Neil Young on that record. Don't know. But it's got all their sort of vocal harmonies and what you expect from a Crosby, Stills and Nash record. Very nice find. So after we'd looked around and I had some time, we went and had dinner. Found a nice restaurant where we went, sat down, sunk some cold beers, and chatted about record collecting, about the VC and all this sort of stuff like you do. It'd be quite fun to meet up with somebody that you've been sort of watching a while, because you don't know them, but you got an idea a little bit. Yeah, so thanks Andy for meeting me up in Edinburgh. That was great fun, really enjoyed that. Well, hopefully we'll get to do it one day soon again. Maybe you'll pop down to Cardiff sometime. Here we are in Edinburgh. First time in Scotland. Looks like a lovely day for it. Record shack. All the records kept behind there, and these are just the empty sleeves. Great fun. This is Vinyl Villains. Nice looking shop actually.
Schlecht. Das ist original noch von Woodstock.
So, here we are in Edinburgh. I'm here with Andy, Cloudy Mulder. Just had dinner, went record shopping, and had a great time. Oh, we even had a few beers, surprise, surprise. Okay, so that was my trip to Edinburgh. Yeah, quite busy at the moment, having a hard time sort of keeping up with the VC, I must admit. There's so many threads out there going on that I wish that I could have take part in, but I just don't seem to have the time. And normally what I do is I have at least 1 or 2 videos around about the midsummer period where I show some of the records that I got the first half of the year, and then I'll do one again towards the end of the year before Christmas about some of the records that I've got in the second half of the year that I just haven't had chance to show. Missed that opportunity, so I think my next video is probably going to be one of those where I show some of my videos, some of my records that I've collected since January up till mid-June. Okay, thanks very much for watching. So look out for my next video. It's going to be lots of records to show. Cheers. Bye.